Thank you so much, Dr. Wang. My name is Sarah Alfonso, and I'm a sophomore at Vanderbilt University studying political science. And we met at the ballroom dance. It was my first time trying something new. I love to dance, and I wanted to explore what's available in Nashville. And I saw a ballroom dance practice, and I'm like, this is something I'm going to go for. And that's how we met. And I have been very impressed after watching the movie site and just reading a lot about you. It has kind of just given me kind of some sort of courage as an international student, someone who came to the US to study, and it's the same story as you some time back. And this is something I feel just more than me making a podcast and getting inspired. I want other people to also listen to you and just see how much change they can make even after traveling to a different country. For the audience, Dr. Wang is a Harvard and MIT graduate and is one of the few laser eye surgeons in the world today who holds a doctorate degree in laser physics. The film site, distributed by Angel Studios, is based on Dr. Wang's autobiography, From Darkness to Sight, co-starring Greg Conner. As a teenager, Ming fought poverty and hardship in China and came to America with only $50 and earned two doctorate degrees, one in laser physics and one in medicine, and graduated with the highest honors from Harvard Medical School and MIT. Amniotic membrane contact lens, which Dr. Wang invented, and for which he donated his patents to the world, has been used by tens of thousands of eye doctors in every nation, and millions of patients have been helped. Wang Foundation for Sight Restoration has helped patients over 40 states in the US and 55 countries around the world, with all sight restoration surgeries performed free of charge. Dr. Wang was named the Kiwanis Nashvillian of the Year. I don't know if I pronounced that correct. For his lifelong dedication to help blind orphan children from around the world. This is really amazing work. Thank you so much as someone who's just getting encountered with this information, but also millions of other people out there seeing the work you've done for people to regain sight. It's really amazing. Yeah.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you.
Mhm. Yes.
I enjoyed our meeting, and you are actually a very talented dancer. And I didn't have
Thank you.
to show you much that you follow right away, and we had a great time.
Sure.
As you know, we are very blessed living in a free country, America,
Hmm.
as
Yes.
international students, and we're pursuing our dreams. And I really
Hmm.
appreciate the
Yes.
opportunity to be on your podcast, and I think it will be an inspirational message today. And
Hmm.
what we would do is I will do a little presentation with my PowerPoint about a purpose-driven life, and
Yes.
then we can go right into Q&A. We can talk
Hmm.
about something interesting and whatever question you want to ask about what I presented and also beyond what I presented, so
Sure.
that we can send our viewers, your viewers, a very exciting and very important message that is, as human being, that lucky enough to be born, lucky enough
Hmm.
to be alive, that
Yes.
we all have a purpose. We all need to develop each our own purpose so
True.
that we can help make the world a little better place to live.
Yes. Yeah, we can go ahead and talk about
Yes, yes. I'm gonna go ahead and share the screen. Let's see.
yes.
Uh, let's do that. Share. Okay. So Sarah, you see on the screen my
Yes,
PPT.
I can see clearly.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, again, this is Dr. Ming Wang. I'm here with Sarah, and we are going to give an interesting presentation to you all, and the presentation and the Q&A discussion about a purpose-driven life.
Hmm.
I want to share a little bit about what I have done in my life, trying to develop a purpose-driven life. The goal is to inspire you to develop your purpose for your life. And the title is Sight, A Purpose-Driven Life. Sight is referring to the movie. On the screen, you see my contact information. Both Sarah and I live in Nashville, Tennessee. And this is my contact information. If any of you have questions afterwards, you can email me or contact me. And
Yes.
there's a free link to the movie, Sight, released by Angel Studios. This is free, and actually, if you share the link with friends, you're literally helping our Sight Foundation's work in helping blind orphan children from around the world. More people know, watch this movie via this free link, more will know about our work in helping these kids. So therefore, more of these kids could be helped.
Yes.
It says here, the film Sight tells the story of a Chinese-American immigrant, Dr. Ming Wang, and his Sight Foundation's work in helping blind orphan children from around the world and in inventing the amniotic membrane contact lens, for which he donated patents and which has helped millions. And in terms of my bio that Sarah already mentioned, and I will not repeat except highlight two things. The amniotic membrane contact lens that Sarah mentioned is now used worldwide, and millions of patients have been helped. It really helped transform the world. And also our Sight Foundation, our mission is to help blind orphan children from around the world with all sight restoration surgeries performed free of charge. So that's my purpose and that's my calling. So first, let me talk about how I have arrived at this point in my life, what experience in my past have shaped me and to help me develop such a purpose-driven life. I grew up in China during Cultural Revolution. From 1966 to 1976, the government in China decided the best way to keep on dictating is to actually destroy the educational process of all of these young people. Destroy. So what they did was crazy. For 10 years, from 1966 to 76, they shut down all universities and colleges of entire China and forcefully deported to every single high school graduate to some of the poorest part of the country and condemn each one of us a life sentence of hard labor and poverty. Over 10 years of cultural revolution, really cultural holocaust, they destroyed the future of 20 million young people. 1974, I was 14 and I finished my junior high. I was a straight student. I studied very hard. My parents always wanted me to study hard and to, have a good life. And however, when I finished my junior high, despite being a straight student, I was not allowed to go to high school. Together with 20 million others, I was going to be sent away to labor camp for life. In order to avoid this devastating fate of being sent away to labor camp for life, with my parents' help, I picked up Chinese violin, a music instrument called erhu, E-R-H-U, and learned to dance. Because if I could play this music instrument or if I could dance, I might be able to get into government song and dance troupe, therefore avoid being sent away to labor camp, being allowed to stay in the cities because government still need musicians and dancers in the cities.
Yeah.
But that didn't work. Actually, I was still going to be sent away to labor camp, just like 20 million others, when I got lucky. 1976 rolled around, Cultural Revolution ended. In the movie Sight, you see that my parents walked in with a newspaper. My father said,
Yes.
University got reopened. You can go to college once again. Because it was shut down for 10 years in China from 1966 to 76. And I could not believe my ears. I said, really? They said, yes, go back. You can go back to school. And I said, when? They said, tomorrow. I said, should I go back to ninth grade? Because 3 years ago, I got kicked out of school after ninth grade.
Yeah.
I was 14, now I'm 17. Should I go back to ninth grade? Guess what my parents said? They said, no, you go back to school, all right? But you need to jump straight ahead overnight to 12th grade. I said, why? They said only 12th graders are allowed to participate in the college entrance exam, the first college entrance exam in China in 10 years because university was shut down for 10 years. I said, why can I wait for 3 years, and go back to school, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and participate in college entrance exam 3 years from then? Why do I have to do something so crazy, jump, to get back to school and jump 3 years ahead overnight? And guess what? My parents want me to do something crazy like that. Well, the answer to that question is the very point of my presentation today, that, for people who didn't have freedom, when freedom came, however briefly, they treasure it. My parents were afraid that maybe the government will change their mind again in the following year and shut down universities for another 10 years. So they want me to go to college entrance exam right then, that year, without having studied in high school. You see, people who appreciate sight the most are those who used to be blind. People who appreciate freedom the most are those who used to not have freedom.
Yes.
And didn't have freedom, so they appreciate it. So in comparison, that it's a message for all of us here in America that when we do have freedom, we need to recognize it's human nature to take things we always have for granted. So we need to appreciate what we have, appreciate the freedom in America. But then you say, I appreciate, which I'm going to address this question. How do we appreciate the freedom in America? So fortunately, back to Cultural Revolution, I was a good child. I listened to my parents, and they really helped me. And with their help, I studied really hard. And in 1978, I got into University of Science and Technology in China to study laser physics. In 1982, I came to America with only $50 with a Chinese English dictionary. Could not speak much English, did not know anyone in this country, and came to America. Even though I was poor, but I was happy. Why? I was free. And after PhD in University of Maryland and finished postdoc at MIT, then I decided to go to medical school. I always wanted to go to med school, but I didn't get a chance in China. I was not even allowed to go to college in China during Cultural Revolution. So now I thought I was in the free country now. I should be able to realize my dream. I met a professor, admission director for a prominent medical school, and he asked me where did I come from. I said, China. Then he goes, well, you know how hard it is to get into medical school, even for American born students, born in America. You're from China. I don't think you're any good. Don't waste your time. So he did not look at my resume. He made the decision assessment simply based on the color of my skin. And what is that? Racial discrimination. Fortunately, I did not listen to him. I worked even harder. I want to show him and others that racial discrimination is wrong. One should be judged by the content of one's conduct rather than the color of one's skin. So I studied really hard. And after postdoc at MIT, the PhD in laser physics, I got enrolled at Harvard Medical School and MIT joint MD program. 1991, I finished, graduated with my second doctorate degree. The first one was PhD in laser physics. Second one is MD. And I invited my parents over. I want to thank them for having brought me up and helped me during the difficult time during Cultural Revolution. And so the movie Sight is dedicated to my parents. The reason I got 2 doctorate degrees, one in a PhD in laser physics, one an MD in medicine, is because medicine is so technologically driven. The half of medicine is technology today, yet most of MDs, surgeons, do not have the opportunity that I have to get a second doctorate degree in laser technology, another half of medicine. I have performed over 55,000 laser vision corrections, including on over 4,000 doctors. This is my graduation diploma joint Harvard and MIT MD degree, and also I went to White House, met then President Ronald Reagan. So, what is the purpose of our life? You see, every one of us, we are so fortunate to be born among trillions of trillions of trillions of trillions of possible genetic combination of our ancestor, that one in those trillion genetic possibility result in you and me. So we're extremely lucky to be born, and there are trillions other genetic combinations did not result in a person to be born. So I think we need to develop purpose out of fundamentally the gratefulness to be born and to have
Yes.
life. So what is the purpose of our life? Today I want to share a little bit about the purpose that I try to build for myself in appreciating how blessed that I was born and I have life today. So I divide my purposes into 5. The first, to share what we have with others, share our knowledge. I think it's extremely important that all of us, whatever we have, we should regard it as part of what we have. And as a human being, and if we all can share what we have, and we can all help each other more. As
Yes.
2 examples of such sharing that I try to develop, I recognize I was very blessed to have not only an MD degree in medicine, but also one of the few laser eye surgeons in the world today who also have a second doctorate degree, a PhD in laser physics, the laser technology we use every day in eye surgery. So I decided to share. I published over the years 10 textbooks in ophthalmology and to help
Wow.
surgeons from around the world to improve their weak area, which is technology. And the second example sharing is that I developed the amniotic placenta contact lens. And these lenses can help restore eyesight in blind patients. And I decided to share. I put my patent online and donate my patent to the world, and even went around the world over a 20-year period to about 50-some countries and free of charge taught over 10,000 eye doctors from these nations how to use this technology. Today, amniotic membrane contact lens has transformed the world, with millions of patients have been helped. Actually, it is a $5 billion a year industry today, amniotic membrane contact lens. And some of my friends said, well, Ming, you're not very smart. In the whole process, you did not make any money because I donated my patent in the beginning. But my answer is that I don't think I'm stupid, because
Yeah.
I really recognize a purpose as a human being, that I want to share what I have. So the first is to share. Second is to remember. All of us have different heritage, our cultural, ethnic heritage, and I think it's as important for all of us as human beings to remember where we came from. The movie Sight, the tagline is, "The present is made possible by the past." As an
Yes.
example of my trying to remember my Chinese cultural roots, that remember I mentioned I had to learn the Chinese
The
violin
Arnu. Arhu.
Cultural Revolution during
Yeah.
try to escape labor camp. Now I play the instrument as an instrument to remember my cultural heritage.
Yes.
So to share and to remember. The third purpose that I try to develop for myself is to progress. I think all of us as human beings, we have the duty to help progress human knowledge so that we all can work together to improve the quality of our lives based on our shared humanity. And in the movie Sai, you see in the beginning that our foundation brought a blind orphan child, Kajol, to America. And she was completely blind due to trauma. Actually, her own stepmother poured sulfuric acid into her eyes when she was sleeping
Yes.
in order to make Kajol not only an orphan, but blind orphan, who then can sing on the street, who will then possibly get more money by begging. So
Yes.
tragic and malicious. So this Kajol's eye, when I examined her, is totally scarred. There was no treatment for such a scar traumatized eyes. So I started doing research, and I realized that fetus does not scar. However, how can we do research on fetus to benefit our patient's eyesight, but yet at the same time preserve a fetal life? And they say there's no common ground between science and faith
And
and moral
faith.
ethical principles. Is that really true? And that brings up the fourth purpose that I try to develop for myself after to share, to remember, to progress. The number 4 is to find.
And
To find a common ground based on our shared humanity. You see, we're living in an increasingly divided world today. We are increasingly, as human beings, increasingly fixated on our differences rather than appreciating what we all have in common as fellow human beings. We're
Yes.
increasingly unable to work across political aisles, racial divides, and ethnic divisions to solve the problem that we really need to solve: gun violence, opioid crisis, environmental disaster, racial tension, poverty, education, healthcare, jobs. The reason that we are not solving these problems is because we're so busy dividing among us. So I
Yes.
think every human being, we have the duty to help myself, help all of us together. We can overcome our polarization and find a common ground once again. Why we should find a common ground? Because we are all vulnerable inhabitants of this piece of flying rock called Earth,
Hmm.
flying through space with a maddening speed of 684 kilometers per second, together with Milky Way, the solar system Milky Way, flying in towards the deep recess of the universe where the greatest attractor is located, the biggest black hole. So we could be hit by any meteoroid. In fact, in the
Yeah.
lifetime of Earth, 4.5 billion years, it was hit 5 times. One of the times was so traumatic, it break apart of part of Earth, which resulted in today's moon. So
Hmm.
we're all vulnerable inhabitants of this piece of flying rock Earth, and we have really, as human beings, no choice but try to find a way to work together. So my
Yes.
number 4 purpose for myself is to find the common ground. I co-established the Common Ground Network, a nonprofit organization, to study the methodology, how we can find the ground. We come up with the Common Ground Seeking Steps, STEPS. S, see the common ground. You got to believe there is common ground when you meet someone who's different. If you don't believe there is common ground, you will never find it. T, trading places, speaking the language of the listener. I've learned that as an eye doctor because in order to solve your eye problems, I have to listen to you because you
Yes.
are the only person on this planet who
Understand.
are seeing through. I have to fix your eye problem. I have to listen to you. I have to
Yes.
really figure out what you see, don't see, and so that I can help you. So trading
Hmm.
places. And E, empathy. When we meet someone different today, what do we tend to do as human beings? We tend to yell and shout and sometimes demonizing the other side. But instead of doing that, can we adopt the SALT principle, SALT? When you meet someone different, S, start a conversation. A, ask a question.
Hmm.
L, listen. And only then talk. P, persevere. If the right thing to do, there's a price to pay. You have to persevere. And finally, S, seek common ground. Actually do it, not just talking about it. I myself, I'm a Christian and I'm inspired by Jesus Christ, his life in terms of following this STPS, common ground seeking steps. He, S, saw the common ground with us. T, he traded places with us by becoming one of us.
Yes.
He demonstrated empathy even to the people in the lowest rung of society, the women by the well. P, paid the ultimate price by dying for our sin at the cross. And finally, S, he saw the common ground with us as human beings, not just talking about it. That's
Yes.
a published Common Ground Bible study. So returning to the question about how to help Kajol restore her eyesight, which is very scarred, I recognize a fetus does not scar, but the way to do fetal research through much praying, I recognize, is to use the placenta. Because
Hmm.
perhaps an unborn child can heal without scar is due to this placenta amniotic membrane that's surrounding each child. And when we're born, we lose that membrane protection. Maybe that's why we started scarring. So I went to hospitals, got lots of placentas donated to me by mothers after giving birth to children. They do not need a placenta anyway. So I brought
Yeah.
the bloody placenta back in the laboratory, started doing research, pull out this amniotic membrane. And through much research, I eventually developed the amniotic membrane placenta contact lens.
Wow.
When I put this placenta amniotic contact lens onto injured eyes, I found miracle happened. The eye
Hmm.
started behaving. The eye started behaving as if it were not born yet. It started regenerate, which we all assessed you to do before birth when we're surrounded by the amniotic membrane. So the eyesight is restored. Then, as I said earlier, I want to share with what I have. So I donate my patent to the world. I put my patent online so everybody sees right away. And I even went around the world to about 50 some countries and free of charge taught over 10,000 eye doctors from different
Wow.
nations. how to use this amniotic membrane contact lens. Today, amniotic membrane contact lens is a technology that has transformed the world. It's a $5 billion a year industry, and millions of
Wow.
people have eyesight restored. And even though I did not make any money myself because I donated my patent, but I'm happy because I got a chance to share. And also as a Christian, I recognize the credit should goes to where credit belongs because I did not invent the placenta. I did not
Mm-hmm.
the amniotic membrane. God did. I just had the great opportunity to catch a little glimpse of part of his original creation.
Yes.
As we get older, our eyes get drier. And so this is a 70-some-year-old, had dry eyes and blurry vision irritation for many years and went to different medical centers, couldn't be helped. And we put the youth, tapping fund of the youth amniotic placenta contact lens on her to
Mm-hmm.
treat age-related dry eyes, and she's very happy.
Wow.
Amniotic membrane contact lens story, which is what the movie Sight is about, is not
Mm-hmm.
only a scientific breakthrough that have helped transform the world, but also it demonstrates that in a very divided, polarized world, at least between science and faith, we can work together and should
Yes.
be an inspiring story for all of us to find the common ground between yourself and someone who's different from you. And finally,
Yes.
I live in Nashville, Tennessee, Music City, USA.
Yeah,
We
the
have
beautiful city.
a beautiful city. That's where Sarah and I met. And this is our institute with some of the best technologies. I published many research papers, including one in the journal Nature. And also, I have served the US FDA ophthalmic device panel, first Chinese Americans to do so, first immigrant. And also, we are doing international surgeon training. I have performed the world's first artificial cornea implantation. And as I mentioned, these are the 10 textbooks I published over the years to help surgeons from around the world to improve their weak area, which is technology, because I'm one of the few surgeons in the world who not only have MD, but also a PhD in laser physics. And
Mm-hmm.
I also share this knowledge with the textbooks with all surgeons.
Yes.
As human beings, we have 6 common eye conditions: myopia, nearsightedness, hyperopia, farsightedness, astigmatism, which simply means your eyeball shaped like American football rather than basketball, and cataract. And also age-related dryness, dry eyes, which can be treated now with amniotic membrane contact lens. So you may wonder, how can we treat these conditions? Well, we have these top 4 technologies, and for the viewers out there, you can take a picture of the screen. So later on, you can email me, my email address down there, and ask any question. Every Tuesday, 6:45 p.m. Central Time, we give a vision Zoom to educate the public about these top 4 laser technologies in modern time. In the left upper corner, you see SMILE. LASIK surgery is going out of date. LASIK surgery is becoming obsolete. It's now replaced by even better technology called the SMILE, small incision LASIK. Lower left corner is implantable contact lens. If you wear contact lenses and you don't want to wear them anymore because you don't want to have to take it off at bedtime every night, I've got technology put the contact lens inside your eye.
Mm.
So you never need
Wow.
to move it. In the middle, over age 45, you have distance problem. You also have reading trouble. We got a technology to fix that. This forever young lens technology in the middle, in one surgery, for those over age 45, we can fix all 5 human eye conditions. One surgery, forever young lens, can fix myopia, hyperopia, astigmatism, presbyopia, reading difficulty, and cataract. So you never need distance glasses to drive. You never need reading glasses for the rest of your life, and you would never develop cataract. That's why it's called forever young lens. On the right side is cataract surgery. Cataract surgery can be performed laser or blade. But even though laser is better, these top 4 technology or laser is much better than blade. But guess what? Even in the advanced country like United States today, only 5% of surgeons are using these top 4 laser technologies. The rest 95% are still using blade, older technologies. Why? Because technology is so fast driven and most of the doctors still studying. So I'm sure that in some years, and everybody will be using the latest laser technology rather than blade. But even the United States, these top 4 technology laser only use 5% of the time. At our center in Nashville, Tennessee, Wang Vision Institute, we use these top 4 technologies 100% of the time. We're leading the
Yes.
country in the percentage of high-tech application in laser eye surgery. I'm going to show you a few videos very briefly about each of these technologies so our viewers will get a little glimpse of the wonderful technology that has transformed the world. First, I'm going to show you left upper corner smile, small incision LASIK. So here that's the smile, and that's replaced LASIK. So here's a little video. Turn up your computer sound, you can hear. So here we go.
Welcome back, everybody. Imagine that you've needed to wear glasses for 20 years, and then one day you no longer need them. Sounds hard to believe, but it's been an actuality for one local woman. Margaret Coleman has spent the last 20 years wearing glasses, and she's struggled with vision issues.
I look at screens all day, I'm emailing, I'm on my phone, and I'm oftentimes really sensitive to the light, and I get headaches and have a lot of pressure on my temples. I've been getting migraines. I also like to snorkel, been wanting to dive and have never made the plunge because of that. So making it a lot easier to do that for me would be life-changing.
Now, earlier this week, Margaret underwent a breakthrough laser vision correction procedure. It's called SMILE. It was performed by Dr. Ming Wang at the Wang Vision 3D Cataract and LASIK Center. Now, the surgery is minimally invasive. It's the first breakthrough in laser vision correction in the last 25 years.
SMILE has three distinct advantages compared with LASIK. Number one, it's minimally invasive. Number two, it causes less dry eye. And number three, it has less post-op complication, such as those that are related to flaps.
Now, the Wang Vision 3D Cataract and LASIK Center is the first and only center in Tennessee to offer SMILE surgery. We got a chance to see the incredible work of Dr. Ming Wang when he did Margaret's procedure. We even got to be there for the big reveal.
Here's a moment of truth. Are you ready?
I am.
Okay, all right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Go ahead, blink, blink, blink. Look around. Look over there. Dr. Jack, can you see?
Clear as bell.
Wow, isn't it amazing? Congratulations. Congratulations. Wow.
So the second procedure I want to show you is the lower left corner, implantable contact lens. If you wear contact lenses, you don't want to wear them anymore because you don't want to have to take it out every night at bedtime. We got technology now to put the contact lens inside your eyes, so you never need to remove it. Here it is. You've been married with your husband for how many years?
Almost 12.
Almost 12 years. So up until this point, without any optical correction, you really cannot see him clearly, right across the room like this.
No.
So now, after Evo lens, you will be able to see him clearly, how he really looked like.
Yeah.
I hope you like what you see.
Yeah, hopefully.
But after 12 years, it may be too late to change it.
Yeah.
The Evo implantable contact lens offers better vision quality, less dry eye, reversibility. If you don't like it, you can take the lens out, and also can correct wider range of vision problems. In addition, it offers UV protection, protect against cataract. 3, 2, 1. Open both eyes. Blink, blink, blink. Blink, blink, blink. Go around. Can you see through? Yes? Isn't it amazing?
Do I have to cry?
And then lastly, I want to show you the Forever Young lens surgery in the middle of age 45. One surgery, we can get rid of your distance glasses forever. We can get rid of your reading glasses forever, and you will never develop cataracts.
And now, this Fox 17 Medical Minute.
As we get older, the lens inside our eyeball gets more rigid. We lose the range of vision. That's why as we get older, we have to push things further and further away to read. That's a condition called presbyopia. So presbyopia is an age-dependent loss of reading ability up close. 3D Forever Young lens surgery has enabled our 40 to 65-year-olds reduce their dependence on reading glasses.
Once I found out that I thought Dr. Wang was the best person to go to, I came to the Vision Center and literally went through every machine here. So, I mean, it's just a beautiful experience to come here and be able to see well after it's done.
So 3D Forever Young lens surgery consists of laser lens surgery, laser astigmatism correction, and 3D technology for surgery, and intraoperative wavefront smart eye surgery technology. So now with the 3D Forever Young lens surgery, when light comes to the eye of a patient with presbyopia, they're able to read things up close once again, restoring their accommodative function.
Really wonderful I had the surgery. I can't express enough how happy I am with it. I am working now, and I can read the blueprints, and just it's just better all the way around.
3D Forever Young lens surgery has enabled our 40 to 65-year-olds to reduce their dependence on glasses or bifocals. We're proud to be the first center and only center in Tennessee that offers 3D Forever Young lens surgery.
So these are the three surgeries I described. On the right is laser cataract surgery. Cataract surgery can be done with laser or blade, but even though in the United States, advanced nation like United States, only 5% of cataract surgeries are performed with laser. 95% are still with a blade because surgeons are still learning, most of them. At the Wang Vision Institute, we use laser for 100% of cataract surgeries. And so that's the state's first laser cataract surgery. And living in Nashville, Tennessee, I have my share of country star patients, Dolly Parton and others. And I have not forgotten where I came from. So I've been back to China, actually going to China in a few weeks. And I performed the China's first all laser LASIK. I've been teaching free of charge Chinese eye doctors for about 30 years now. At Wang Vision Institute, we have patients from all of the United States and all of the world. So to share, to remember, to progress, find, and the last of the 5 is to help. I think as a human being, we all have the duty to help those who need the most help.
Yes.
That is why I developed the foundation. People say, why you want to help these blind orphan kids I devote my life in helping them? My answer is very simple. When I see someone, a child in darkness today, I can relate to them because I used to be in darkness myself as a teenager in China during Cultural Revolution. I did not see any future in my life. So when I see them in darkness today, I can relate to them. I know how they feel, and I want to do my best to help them come out of darkness to light. This is real life Kajol. In the film, you see the actress who played her, and this is the real life Kajol, the 5-year-old blind orphan child from India. So the movie Sight is about Kajol's remarkable journey to try to come from darkness to light. In Cultural Revolution, I also learned dancing to escape labor camp, trying to get into government song and dance troupe. Now I use dancing to help my medical charity and enjoying it. That's how I met Sarah in the dance event. Yes. And I use dance to help my medical charity develop the concept called the eyeball to raise money to help blind orphan children. Our foundation help patients from all over the world. And finally, as an immigrant, I think we all have the duty to help each other, help America. So I established Tennessee Immigrant and Minority Business Group, an organization that helps Latino Americans, African Americans, Asian Americans to each other in business and help America. And every quarter we have this Tennessee Immigrant Minority Business meeting, and this is the next one. And this is about helping nonprofit. And as a Christian, I always talk giving presentation in churches, universities, and schools about what I believe God wants science and faith to work together. As an immigrant minority, we also have to stand up for our rights. This
Yes.
is Nashville of the Year and tremendous honor. The first time that this southern city in America, Nashville, has given this award to immigrant and minority. And I teach in local university at Christian University locally, Tribeca. And as example teaching, I have learned 77 things from people who are a lot smarter and more successful than me, how to do things more efficiently. 事半功倍, how to accomplish double in half the time. So every third Wednesday of a month, I give a Zoom. If you're interested, you're welcome to listen. You can take a picture of the screen. You can even send me an email with your mailing address. I will mail you a little booklet. This little booklet, you can finish reading the whole book in 10 minutes. Because about 77 things that we should be doing, learning from the much more successful billionaires and successful people, how to do things. They're successful not because they got extra head or extra arm, it's because they do things in certain special ways. And I observed them. I collected these 77 behavioral unique characteristics of those billionaires. So you're welcome to attend my Zoom third Wednesday for 1 hour and email me with your mailing address. I will send the book to you, to every audience for Sarah's program, podcast. It will be a little gift to you, mailed to you at home. 事半功倍 book. So, in summary, a purpose-driven life, I realized that science are tools. For me, faith and humanity is the purpose. And I even published my book as my experience as an immigrant in America, just like Sarah, and that had been made into movie site. So last video to show you, turn up your computer sound to see the trailer of the movie site.
I'm going to help you see again.
You said it was impossible.
Ah, there he is, the good doctor.
You're going to be on the cover of the Tennessee Herald tomorrow morning. You may get a date out of this.
Not with that picture.
Very funny.
Our pro bono office got a call from India. A little girl, 6 years old.
Apparently, street beggars make more money if they're legitimately blind. So the stepmother poured sulfuric acid in each of her eyes.
I'm going to help you see again, good job.
Is it true that multiple doctors declared your patient irreversibly blind?
Yes, I developed this new breakthrough technology. Here we go. Do you see the light?
No. I can't see anything.
I have this patient from India. She reminds me of some things in the past that I can't get over.
The present is made possible by the past.
A long time ago back in China, there was an uprising in my hometown. Many bad things happened.
So you came to America.
Yes.
It's hard getting into medical school, but you coming from China, don't waste your time.
You cannot change the past, Ming. I feel like I'm stuck.
Hello, doctor. This is Maria.
We want to give her a chance to see again.
I don't even know if I can perform surgery anymore. I left you.
Stop it. You need to just let go.
I just don't want Maria to end up like a job.
We can only do our best. I'm with you, Ming. We can do this.
I refuse to believe there is no purpose.
I will be praying for you.
The job is teaching me that there's more to life than what you see. We have to keep going.
Thought you said it was impossible.
Can you see yourself, Maria?
I'm so pretty.
So if you can take a picture of the screen, you can help the foundation by sharing this free movie site link. If more people watch this film via this free link, more will be aware of our foundation's work in helping blind orphan children from around the world. So therefore, more of these kids could be helped. So thank you for your help to the foundation by sharing with folks this free movie link site. So in summary, purpose-driven life. You can develop your own. All of us need to, based on our shared humanity, our appreciation that we're born and we are living today. For me, my purpose consists of 5 parts: to share our knowledge with others, to remember our roots, to progress human knowledge, to find the common ground in a divided world today, and finally, to help those who need the most help. So if you ask me, say, Dr. Wang, what is the single most important inspiration that behind these 5 purposes that inspire you to build these 5 purposes that you live by? My inspiration is very simple. It's one. That is simply, as a human being, I always remind myself every day, wake up, I have another day. I have loved one beside me. I have my work. I have my patients. I have my dancing, music.
Yes.
I'm so grateful. So I want to do what I can. The single inspiration behind these 5 specific purposes to share, to remember, to progress, to find, and to help is one purpose. That is, as a human being, I want to do what I can to help make this world a little better place to live. Thank you. So anybody interested in visions issues, you can attend my Zoom every Tuesday. And once again, thank you for your help to the foundation in sharing this free movie link.
Thank you so much, Dr. Wang. I can't tell you how inspired this all is. I watched the movie Sight one evening when I was feeling so uninspired. I had work to do, but I didn't feel like doing my schoolwork, and I'm like, let me get and watch this movie. I watched the trailer, and I'm like, okay, let me put some time to watch this movie. Maybe it's gonna give me energy to, keep on fighting and just keep on getting energy to go on working hard. After watching the movie, I had a lot of energy to just keep on working. It's just that thing, that encounter you find with something, and you're like, probably in my life, I've not been so grateful for so many things. There's a lot that goes on, and because of how much I look at myself, I fail to recognize how much I could, care for the world, or just how much I can share with the world. Thank you so much. And I have never really thought about having, a specific written purpose for my life. I do want to live a purpose life, and I want to do great things, but I've never really kind of mentioned them down or written them down and reminded myself every day, as you have, to share, to remember, to find, to progress, and to help. I have never really done that in a very structured way. And I think if there's anything I'm going to take away from here, is to have that purpose written down and just following it every day and living every day to be able to help someone out there, to be able to just share with them the knowledge you have, to be able to help every day as we live as humans. Thank you so much for the whole presentation. It's just been so inspiring, and I know the viewers will be very energized and very grateful to just hear your path as someone who moved to the US a long time ago. Thank you so much. Yeah, I do have a few questions. Yeah, and I watched when I watched the movie Sight, I just wondered, like, why did you think it was very important for someone out there to look at the journey of your life? And what was the story behind how it came about for you to think, okay, let's make a movie about this journey and something like that? I'm just very curious about that.
Yeah. Great question. Great question. I had to comment a little bit about you, Sarah, that the first time we met, I realized you're a very special young lady. And not only you're very naturally talented in dancing, we had great time dancing together, but also you think about things. You think about what you do when you schedule the Zoom, you planned it. And brief discussion we have, I was asking what you're doing. You say, I'm an international student studying at Vanderbilt University. I can sense you already have a purpose-driven life, and you have your plan, you have your ideas, what you want to do. And I agree with you that the challenge for all of us is to come down with a structure. And I think it's very good point you made. That is, we all need to write it down. And the most important is because if we write it down, we can re-examine it all the time.
Yes.
We can always align ourselves, see whether we truly are following what we planned, and we can modify the plan too. But the goal is to be able to have a purposeful and examined life as such.
Yes.
And regarding your question, my primary purpose of writing the book, autobiography, and then made a movie side is because I want to inspire other, particularly immigrants and minorities in America today, that we all have similar journey. We all were born in another country. We have left many of our friends and relatives back home. We have to adopt this dramatic, significant change in life, culture, language, and everything. We have to start from the beginning. And so we have to go through similar struggles and challenges. And I want to share my struggle and challenges, the lessons that I've learned in the process, to inspire other immigrants and minorities, and to basically send a message that you're not alone. We all share similar journeys, but also beyond immigrants and minorities, and to share my message with America and the world today. That is, we are living in such a divided world. We are so fixated on differences rather than appreciating what we have in common. So perhaps by watching a movie, hearing a story of someone who struggled through, who used to not have freedom, and then compare with what we have today, in comparison, realize that how blessed we are to live in a free country and how much we need to appreciate America. Appreciating this country is not something we just say, we have to do it. So what's the action proving that we truly appreciate what we have as human beings? The action through the movie side, I want to say the action is one and one only. That is this: are we willing to work across political, racial divides, and ethnic divisions? Are we willing to change our focus to while we're different to what we are the same? Are we willing to overcome our division, polarization, to realize at the end of the day, we all have shared humanity. We need to find that common ground. It's this willingness to overcome the polarization and to find the common ground once again. It's the action to prove, do we really appreciate what we have today as human beings?
Yes, thank you so much. I think just living a life of inspiration, just having one person there look at something and just feel life in them to keep on going. I think that is one of the most important things that I feel I personally want to live for. I love to kind of like talk to people and just go to high schools and just kind of talk to them about how my life has been and how I have moved from place to place. Just working hard and praying and things working out and just letting them know it will work out for them too, and it's really possible. And I think this movie does a great job of just showing that and inspiring someone who probably knows nothing about laser physics like me, or nothing about how to correct an eye and something like that. But then how the movie portrays it just gives a lot of energy to someone who is not even in medical school, who's doing political science like me. So that is really amazing. And while watching the movie, a special part of it that got stuck with me was the story about Lily and the uprising in China, of course. And as a young teenager living in such an era, what gave you the courage to get past that and, go ahead and take the Gaokao, which is the Chinese college entrance exam? Just wondering, like a lot of us young people, especially now, we get stuck when something goes on, we get stuck where we are and we fail to kind of move past that. I'm just wondering, what helped you move across and keep on going and working hard? And if there's any kind of advice you would give to listeners, what would that be?
Great question. Great question, Sarah. I would just have to say that as a child and teenager in China during Cultural Revolution, I struggled and worked hard to, have a future, was really, really mainly due to my parents. fortunately, I was a grateful child, and I watched how hard my parents work, and the action imprinted me. So they allow me to develop the habits of working hard, everything I do as a child and a teenager. So I guess the point there is for those parents out there to recognize the best way to teach your child is not by preaching, by words, but by action. If you want a child to behave certain way, behave that way yourself first. Because my parents work hard themselves, watching them in a very poor situation, so in poverty, that I learned by watching them and inspired by their action. So I end up working hard. Now, this I want to extend your question to what happened in adult. Now I still work hard, and how did that come from? I think it came from two areas that why I'm still working hard today. Number one is the childhood upbringing.
Yes.
That is why I always tell my young friends and their parents that as a youngster, it's important to go through some difficulty and hardship. It's important for high school kids, college kids to work at the same time. Because if you don't work in high school, college, then you will not develop this imprinted behavior of recognizing how important is to earn your take. So that is, I'm very fortunate because I developed the habit, not because of me, but because of my parents' education. And second, now as an adult, when I look back, not just the habit of working hard, but also I developed new appreciation because I recognize that I'm very lucky as a human being. As a Christian, I'm very lucky that God has brought me through that difficult time to make sure that I appreciate what I have now. And so I recognize is looking back is the appreciation as an adult to my sufferings in the past. That appreciation is what's motivated me to work hard. And that's kind of a lead to our current situation in America today, that we are so divided, we're so polarized as a nation, because many of us forgot how blessed we are to live in a free country. So just like the people who appreciate sight the most are those who used to be blind. People who appreciate freedom the most are those who used to not have freedom. So sight, through the story of someone who used to not have freedom, to trying to send a message to America that indeed we're living in a wonderful country. We are so blessed. We're not living in a perfect country. We have our problems, but we live in a best country. People say, oh, Ming, tell me the proof. Give me a proof that America is the best country. I say, I'll give you a proof, an indisputable proof that America is the best country. You see, in America, we have immigration problem that start with I. Everybody wants to come to live here, including you, Sarah, including me. But in America today, we do not have an immigration problem that start with E, that everybody wants to leave America. Why everybody wants to come to live here from all over the world? It's because America offers something that human being needs: a sense of security, a sense of fairness, law, and sense of being able to treat it equally. That's not forget. That's what America is about. That's do not deviate from their fundamental recognition and respect for humanity that this country is characterized about.
Yes, it's definitely very true. This country gives something that you might not find in a lot of places. Just coming here and having a chance for me to study what it is that I want to study and just explore that, that has been something I'm also very grateful for, and it's just really amazing. And one thing, just going closer to like the immigrant story, you did various kinds of jobs when you were in college, and like washing plates, cleaning, and we international students at school always joke that the first job as a freshman you get to do is the dining. You go wash plates at the dining and things like that. I also had a dining job when I first came here, and that's how I kind of just started with that, and then started looking for other jobs that are probably closer to my major and things like that. I'm just wondering, for probably an international student who came here and worked those jobs, how has that shaped the kind of person you are in your journey?
Oh, it's a great question again. On the surface, for immigrants and international students, it may appear to be a disadvantage compared with native-born students.
Yeah.
Or Johnny or Nancy didn't have to do that, working a second job or third job while we're studying. But we do, as immigrant minorities, we do, because we not only it's a financial issue, but also we have to learn the language, culture, and also socially, we have left our friends and our buddies in the primary school back home.
Yeah.
And so on the surface may appear to be a disadvantage. But it's interestingly, after being in America for all these years, I realized that in some sense, it is actually an advantage. Because in order to live a purpose-driven life, that inspiration of that purpose came from an appreciation as a human being. And we all will only appreciate what we have as human beings by being able to have to earn these things that we have in our life. If you're born in this country that, with a silver spoon in your mouth, one may not need to work during college or high school. While on the surface, it's an advantage, but it is actually a disadvantage, because then in your formidable years, in the years that you need to develop that appreciation, you will not be able to develop as much because you didn't have to work for it.
Yes.
So I think we should look at it as an advantage. That is not only immigrant and minorities, I think all Americans, all human beings, when we are young in high school, college, you should work, because it's an important imprinted experience. Imprinting means acquiring certain knowledge in a particular time in your life, which will have a unique, cannot be replicated experience later on. You can learn the same thing when you're 35, 45-year-old to work, but it's not the same when you learn when you're 15, when you have to work at age 15. So that's imprinting. Imprinting is acquiring certain experience in a particular time in your life, which will have a irreplicable effect later in your life. So I think we think it may be a disadvantage. You have to do second job, third job as international immigrant students. But actually, I think in the look at the whole life journey, it's actually an advantage, because it allows us to have the imprinted experience, to allow us to have to work hard in the formidable years, to allow us to develop the appreciation later in life when we do have something.
Yes, that's really amazing. Yeah, it kind of, for me, my job is like I do a lot of things, but it kind of just keeps my mind grounded in, like, it doesn't really matter the type of job I do as long as I put my all into it. And the Bible says if you put energy and work hard in the small things, it will also show in like the big things that you do. So just doing the smallest of things with energy and dedication, when you get something really big to do, you're also going to show the same dedication because you were able to be faithful in the small things. And I think that's something I personally, as a Christian as well, I value a lot. And just an extra question on being a student from China and being told it was impossible to do the MCAT. What kind of thoughts ran through your mind then? And before I applied for college, I also wanted to be a doctor. But when I was in high school, I thought about, wanting to, because when you come to the US, you have to first do an undergrad before you go to grad school and medical school. So I just kind of weighed my options. I'm like, if I want to be a doctor, there's not like a clear path as in I'm going to just go to medical school directly. I have to first do undergrad. And I'm not sure what is going to happen after undergrad. I might not probably get financial aid to go to medical school because that is something I cannot afford. So I just decided to come to the US and, explore other options of what I would love to do. And it fortunately works for me because what I'm doing now, political science and my other majors and the things I want to pursue later on in life, I love to do them. But then it just kind of, as an international student, knowing that there's probably not a clear path after you're done with undergrad, which is paid for by the university, it kind of discourages a lot of students. How did you handle that pressure and that discouragement from your professor who said it would be impossible for you to go to medical school because you're like an immigrant in the country, and more so because it's even very hard for Americans themselves to get into medical school.
Yes, yes. Great question again, Sarah. Um, my motivation came from two places at the time when I was essentially turned down by the professor. Say, "You're Chinese, you're no good, you have no chance getting to med school in America." First, when he said that, he didn't look at my resume. He just looked at me, make a judgment based on the color of my skin. That's racial discrimination. When he said that, I was very mad. I almost gave up. I talk about in my autobiography. I was so mad. I thought I was in a free country. I should be able to do what I wanted. Why I'm still get discriminated against.
Yeah.
Then I realized that after Cultural Revolution in China, I fought once, and that was trying to find a future for myself. Now I can fight again, but this time it's not just for myself, but also for the people who also being discriminated against based on the color of their skin. So I want to prove that Professor wrong, that one should be judged by the content of one's conduct rather than color of skin. So I work even harder. And so that's the motivation, actually. I turned the discrimination into a motivation. And second, I have the same problem. I didn't have an undergraduate school in this country, and I didn't have pre-med. And I only can take this exam called MCAT, Medical College Admission Test. I have no idea if I could get a chance, but I knew that if I could do really well and I study really hard, and then I got the same problem as you were thinking, that literally I have no money. I have to put myself through graduate school without any support from my parents, and I have to put through my medical school without any support from my family either. So what I did is I basically went to school, medical school. I talked to the university, the medical school. I said, I need to work at the same time. They say you can only work as an international student in the school, in a school library or cafeteria. And I said, that's not enough. I need to get another job beyond as a school. The jobs outside the campus earn a little bit more, like a Burger King, Best Western Hotel, and I can clean somebody's house. So I convinced the school to give me permission as an international student to get a job, paid job outside the campus. So at one time I had 5 jobs.
Wow.
Going to medical school, but at the same time, I was, working in the Burger King. I was working in the Best Western Hotel, and I also was cleaning somebody's house, and I was also tutoring. And I still sometimes occasionally tutor students who wants to go to med school, how to study for MCAT stuff. So I think the answer came from ourselves to devise a situation, a program that you can support yourself. Now, I would say don't let the financial barrier to be the principal barrier, because you can work around it. You can find a solution.
Yes.
And my suggestion, Sarah, for you is look into yourself, in your heart, and ask yourself this question. Assuming both or all of these are possible, whether pursue a career in political science and humanity or other areas or medicine, what is your calling? What do you feel excited about? And you can actually find out what your calling, what you're excited about by a little test. When you're not thinking about anything in particular, what are you thinking about at that moment? If you find yourself, without having to make it yourself, think about political science, and you're thinking about political science, human behavioral science, and the public policies, and that's your calling. If you're not particularly intentionally thinking about it, and then you keep on thinking about medicine, then that's your calling. So in other words, dig deeper, find yourself. But once you find that that's what your calling is, meaning defined as when you're not intentionally thinking about any particular thing, you end up thinking about that naturally yourself, intuitively, emotionally, then that's your calling. Then there's a way to make it happen. Financially, should not be a barrier. I end up borrowing tons of money, of course, in med school. And the first 10 years of my work, I was paying off student loans. But it's worth it, because at the end of the day, it's about that realization of your dream of doing something that you're excited about that truly matters for a human being. Steve Jobs, in his only commencement speech at the Stanford University 206, he said, when you get up in the morning, brush your teeth, look in the mirror, you ask yourself this question. What I'm about to do today, does that excite me? If yes, wonderful. If it doesn't, repeat the same thing next day. If many days in a row, you look in the mirror in the morning, you're getting ready for the day, what you're about to do does not excite you, then change. Life is too short to waste on something that does not inspire you.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, just being able to wake up and whatever it is that is in my mind that I feel I want to do, that inspires me. That's what I'm gonna look towards. My nickname is Alexa, and it means defender of mankind. It just kind of inspires me to be able to, help people out of situations. And I'd say one of the biggest reasons as to why I'm studying political science, or just something that has more of a people-centric kind of thing, is because I kind of see how much it is lacking out there for us to have leaders that actually care about people and not just about status or power and things like that. And coming from a country, I'm from South Sudan, coming from a country that the leadership does not really care about the people, and every day people are struggling, and just having to look at that firsthand and just witnessing all the wars that have happened in the past, this kind of just gives me a reason to want to, work hard and help people out of those situations, and just, I don't know, hold power with a reason to help people rather than just get, the best out of it only for personal gain. And I think that's what drives me every day. And sometimes it gets really complicated because politics is a really complicated thing, but just the idea that I want to help one more person out there, or just as many people as I can, and defend them from whatever threat it is that is available. I think that so far has been a very huge reason as to why I keep on, doing what I always do. And that comes to my essentially last question, as in, like, how did you come to know God? I was born a Christian. My parents are Christians. I've lived a very privileged life to know God since I was a baby and grow up with him. But I'm just wondering, how did you encounter Jesus Christ?
Great question. Great question. And I want to make a comment about your previous comment. It's very easy to be frustrated. And then I ask your last question. It's very easy to be frustrated today because the world is so polarized and the leaders are so self-serving.
Yes.
They're focused on power, money, control, rather than solving real-life problems such as gun violence, opioid crisis, environmental disaster, racial tension, poverty, education, healthcare, jobs. So what I learned is this: I cannot change anyone on this planet except myself. So through the movie Sight, through our discussion today, I always want to send this viewpoint, express this viewpoint, that is this. It's no use to be frustrated about other people's behavior. You cannot change them.
Yes.
So I want all of us, myself included, each of us change ourselves. When we complain about leaders are self-serving, polarized, based on money, power, and control, let's ask ourselves, am I behaving that way as well? Can I change myself so that I don't behave that way? Because after all, I'm the only person who I can change in this world. That's why I said that the reason I developed the work ethic as a kid is not because of me, it's because I watched my parents. The best way for parents to teach is to do the things they want their kids to do themselves first. So I think it's a frustrating world, sometimes despairing, sometimes disappointing, sometimes realize that the leaders are so self-serving and the world is so divided. To recognize that's just human nature for power, money, and control. The question is not to continue to blame or complain about them. The question is, am I willing to change myself? Am I willing to at least behave differently? Like Steve Jobs, Apple, think differently. Here is behave differently? Am I willing to be one, unequal to one, the powerful one, to behave differently, be more willing to find the common ground, the STPS, see the common ground, trading places, empathy, persevere, and seek a common ground? Am I willing to be the person who traveled the road less traveled today? That is not fixing on difference among us, but appreciating what we all have in common. So my comment for your last question is, I think it is indeed frustrating world, but complaining about the frustrating world, complaining about the world polarization, how our leaders are so self-serving, will not get us anywhere. However, most productive is what you're doing. That is, change yourself. Be the one who act differently, to think differently, who behave differently, and who travels the road, which is common ground seeking, much less traveled. Regarding your last question about Christian, so there's a wonderful Christian film called God's Not Dead many years ago. It's about campus debate about evidence for existence of God. In that, there's a cute Chinese student in a movie who went from atheist to believer after coming from America from China during Cultural Revolution. He was at the first student at the end of the movie who stood up in the classroom, declared, "God is not dead." And that student was inspired by my life story in that movie. So just like the student, I came here as an atheist. After fighting during Cultural Revolution in China, I finally got the freedom, came to America, got the chance to study science. I was not interested in anything else except science. I thought science will save the world. So I was born as atheist. I came to America as an atheist. But it's interesting. It was in the study of science, in this case, in specifically medicine and ophthalmology, in the structure of eye, that I became a Christian. Because I was studying human eye at Harvard Medical School, MIT Joint MD program. I realized the eye is so complicated that the number of cells in each of our brain involving vision, processing, signal capturing, interpretation processing is greater than the number of stars that we have ever discovered in the entire universe. So how could these trillions of neurons involved in vision in our brain that line them up so nearly perfectly in 9 months? Because if one of the cells get out of line, we'll be born blind. But most of us, when we're born, we can see. So I realized that the atheist worldview, that's random collision evolution, will not explain this, cannot explain this fundamental question, the complexity of life, in this case, complexity of human eye. How can that evolve out of randomness? So I kept asking a professor this question, and finally he took me out to lunch. He turned out to be a Christian, but he didn't tell me at the time. But he took me out to lunch one day. He said, "Ming, what's across the street?" I said, "There's a car." He said, "What's the difference between a car and human eye?" He said, I said, "Well, human eye is a lot more complicated." He said, "Okay, can you imagine a pile of random pieces of metal on the street form itself into a car?" I said, "No way." Then he leaned over. He said, "How about human eye?" So right there, he opened a window in my life, making me realize that the reason they're so complex to structure human eye, but yet can form nearly perfectly, nearly 100% of the time, is because it did not form out of random. It actually formed with a purpose. And that purpose is for vision. Okay? So this cells line is a purpose. There's a designer behind it. Going from that point, recognizing there's a designer, there's a creator, God, to finally recognize that God has a name in Jesus Christ, who died for our sin at the cross, who saw the common ground with us as human beings. He saw the common ground with us as human beings. He traded the places by becoming one of us. He demonstrated empathy towards even people in the lowest run society, the woman by the well in the Bible. Nobody wants to talk to her. Christ did. He paid the ultimate price by dying for our sin. Finally, he actually put in action, saw the common ground with human being, feel what we pain, suffer what we suffer. So I recognize that Jesus is God, and he died for our sin, and it is important to recognize whatever we do, that we should not take credit for it. It's glory to God. That's why when I developed the amniotic membrane contact lens, I donated my patent to the world, because I recognized I did not invent the placenta. I did not invent the amniotic membrane. God did. As a scientist and a Christian, I was just privileged to be given by God a precious little opportunity to catch a little glimpse of part of his original creation. So glory
Amen.
belongs to God.
Amen. Thank you so much. And just thank you for this chance of giving some of your time so that we could talk and just have this shown to like a wider public, people out there and young people as myself to just get encouraged in how they can live a better life and just a life that is full of purpose. And if there's one thing I think the audience should take is the fact that having your life structured and the purpose that you want to live, being able to share, to remember where you're from, to progress, to find and just to help people out there. Thank you so much, Dr. Wang, for this opportunity for me to be able to interview you and just have this podcast. I, I'm very like I'd say I'm very excited and just very happy for the chance to actually just get to meet you. It has inspired me personally a lot, and I think a lot of people out there and young people will also be inspired by this. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Sarah, and I will see you on the dance floor. This Friday, I won't be there. The Friday, May 1st, they actually closed, but I'll be in the next Friday. So you are very light in your feet. You're very naturally talented dancer, as I said. So life is about music, it's about exercise, and most importantly, through dancing, we learn about human connection.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank
Have a great day, Dr. Wang.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got it. And let's see. Dr. Chen, I don't know if he is, Dr. Chen, he probably stepped away. I want to make sure Dr. Chen will be able to send you the video.
Yes.
Let's see. Because he's the host and this is in his YouTube account. Let me see if I can ring him. So at least you can catch. But the reason is I want to make sure that we don't lose it.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, so I'm gonna text him. Second. Chan. Okay, let's see.